Thinking about getting a Chihuahua because they're tiny, cute, and easy to carry? You might want to hear this first, because here's the harsh truth. A Chihuahua can be one of the most loyal dogs you'll ever own, but for the wrong person, they can also become anxious, noisy, demanding, stubborn, and surprisingly difficult to live with. And that's exactly why thousands of people underestimate them every year. So before you fall in love with those huge eyes and tiny paws, let's talk about why the Chihuahua is definitely not for everyone. And trust me, some of these reasons might surprise you. Chihuahuas are often misunderstood. People see a small dog and assume they need less work, less training, less exercise, less commitment. But size and simplicity are not the same thing. These little dogs have enormous personalities, packed into tiny bodies. And while that makes them amazing companions for the right owner, it can turn into a nightmare for someone who isn't prepared. In this video, we're diving into the harsh truths about Chihuahua ownership, not to discourage people, but to help future owners avoid mistakes and give these incredible dogs the life they deserve. Because sometimes the kindest thing you can do is admit that a breed simply doesn't fit your lifestyle. Chihuahuas become extremely attached. One of the things people love most about Chihuahuas can also become one of the biggest challenges. These dogs bond intensely. We're talking shadow-level attachment. Go to the kitchen, they're behind you. Sit on the couch, they're already there. Head to the bathroom, they'll wait outside the door. At first, it feels adorable. You feel loved, needed, special. But this intense bond can easily turn into separation anxiety. Some Chihuahuas panic when left alone. They may bark nonstop, destroy things, pace around, or become depressed. And if you're someone who's away from home 10 hours a day and expects your dog to simply deal with it, a Chihuahua may not be the right choice. They don't just want your attention. Many of them truly need it. And that emotional dependency is something people rarely talk about. But wait until you hear what happens when strangers enter the house. They don't automatically love everyone. Forget the stereotype that all small dogs are social butterflies. Chihuahuas often choose their people, and once they do, everyone else might simply be tolerated. Some become suspicious around strangers, others bark at guests, and many develop the reputation of being mean. But here's the truth. Most Chihuahuas aren't aggressive. They're protective. Imagine being 6 pounds and living in a world filled with giant humans and dogs. Caution makes sense. Without proper socialization, though, caution can become fear. Fear becomes barking, and barking eventually turns into snapping. That's why early exposure to people, sounds, and different environments matters so much. If you're hoping for a dog that instantly loves everyone who walks through the door, you might find yourself disappointed, because Chihuahuas often reserve their deepest affection for a select few. And speaking of barking, let's talk about the noise. They can be surprisingly loud. Tiny dog, big voice, very big voice. Many Chihuahuas take their self-appointed security job seriously. Delivery driver? Bark. Neighbor closes a car door? Bark. Leaf blows across the yard? Bark. Someone sneezes 3 houses away? Probably bark. And unlike larger breeds, their high-pitched bark can become especially irritating if not managed early. Now, not every Chihuahua is excessively vocal, but many are naturally alert and territorial. And if you accidentally reward the behavior by yelling back or giving attention, you're teaching them that barking works. Apartment living, thin walls, neighbors with little patience, these are things you should honestly consider, because cute doesn't always equal quiet. And the next truth catches many owners completely off guard. Their tiny size makes them fragile. People assume small means durable. Actually, the opposite is often true. A Chihuahua weighs only a few pounds. That means simple accidents can become serious. Jumping off furniture, being stepped on, playing too rough with larger dogs. Even children who mean well can accidentally hurt them. This is one reason Chihuahuas aren't always ideal for very young families. Kids naturally want to hug, carry, and play, but Chihuahuas need gentle handling. They're not stuffed animals. They're delicate little dogs with very real physical limitations. And because they're so small, owners sometimes become overprotective. Ironically, that overprotection creates another problem: the dreaded small dog syndrome. Spoiling them creates monsters. Here's Here's a sentence Chihuahua owners don't always want to hear. Being tiny doesn't excuse bad behavior. Growling, demanding attention, resource guarding, snapping, ignoring commands. Many people laugh these things off because the dog is small. Imagine a German Shepherd behaving that way. Nobody would think it's funny. But when a Chihuahua does it, people say, oh, that's just how they are. No, that's often how they've been raised. Because they're small, owners skip training. They carry them everywhere, never teach boundaries, never enforce rules. And eventually, the dog believes it's running the household. The good news? Chihuahuas are smart, really smart. With consistency, patience, and proper training, they're capable of becoming wonderfully behaved companions. But you can't treat them like living toys. And here's where many people make their biggest mistake. Quick question for Chihuahua owners watching this. Which harsh truth surprised you the most? Or maybe your Chihuahua completely proves one of these wrong. Let us know in the comments. And if you love honest videos about Chihuahuas, the good, the bad, and the hilarious, make sure you subscribe, because we've got plenty more coming. Now, let's talk about something that almost nobody expects from these tiny dogs. They require more care than people think. People hear small dog and think easy maintenance. Not necessarily. Chihuahuas may not need marathon walks, but they still need daily exercise, mental stimulation, training, social interaction, dental care, regular grooming, depending on coat type, and perhaps most importantly, consistency. Their intelligence means they can become bored, and bored Chihuahuas invent jobs for themselves, usually jobs you didn't assign, like barking at windows, guarding the couch, or following you everywhere, like tiny security guards. These dogs thrive when they have routines. Without structure, they create chaos. The biggest misunderstanding about Chihuahuas? Here's the most important truth of all. People often choose Chihuahuas for their size, but they should choose them for their personality. Because mentally, a Chihuahua doesn't know it's tiny. Inside, many think they're 50-pound guard dogs. They're brave, confident, opinionated, sensitive, intelligent, and deeply emotional. That's why treating them like accessories creates problems. They're not handbags. They're not decorations. They're not permanent puppies. They're dogs, real dogs, with instincts, needs, fears, and personalities. And here's the contrarian perspective many experienced Chihuahua owners understand. Their so-called difficult traits are often the same traits people later fall in love with. That clinginess, it's devotion. That alert barking, they're trying to protect you. That stubbornness, it's intelligence mixed with independence. That caution around strangers, it's loyalty. The traits themselves aren't bad. The question is whether they fit your lifestyle. Because the right Chihuahua owner doesn't try to change who the dog is. They learn how to work with who the dog is. And when that happens, something beautiful happens. These little dogs become fiercely loyal companions that love with their entire hearts. So why is the Chihuahua not for everyone? Because they're emotional, they're attached, they're vocal, they're fragile, they're intelligent, and they require far more attention and training than most people expect. But none of those things make them bad dogs. In fact, for the right person, those same qualities make them extraordinary. The problem isn't the breed, it's the mismatch. And choosing the wrong dog for any breed is unfair to both the owner and the dog. Sometimes the best dog in the world is simply the wrong dog for your life, and that's okay. Chihuahuas may be tiny, but anyone who's loved one knows they leave giant paw prints on your heart. And if you're lucky enough to share your life with one, you already know they're not for everyone, but for their people, they're absolutely everything. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with another Chihuahua lover, and visit my newsletter. Give your little shadow an extra cuddle from us, and see you in the next video.